Hey everyone, and welcome to today's episode. I'm Kristina Santiago, and I'm so honored and so excited to share Miss Lisa Zimmer, who is a Blue Diamond from dōTERRA, and she's absolutely amazing. She's doing big things with this business, and her mindset is one that I deeply admire. Thank you so much for being here.
You're welcome.
Yes. I would love for you to take a few minutes and just to introduce yourself, share some of your story, because I know you have really a story that embodies so much of your journey, of your personal journey and business journey here.
Absolutely. So we were on a different path when we were introduced to dōTERRA. We were not from the natural health and wellness world at all. We were from the Starbucks cake pops and macchiatos and packaged processed food and McDonald's and so we discovered really a whole new world when we stumbled on dōTERRA. I was a successful real estate agent and we had a crazy lifestyle. I mean, you know, real estate, you worked all the time in your car. So it's not like you were, snacking on kale in your car, right? We were eating fast food and I got sick, and I got sick a lot. I was just told it was just, I had allergies and asthma and eczema and, redhead and,
all the things.
And we just accepted it. I was 39 years old and I'd had this stuff for 37 years of that. So we just accepted it. And I got my, normal everyday fall sinus infection, respiratory infection, and got an antibiotic for it. And I was one of those people that got the entire list of side effects except for death, which it felt like death. It was every day for 3 years was excruciating. I was disabled, mentally, brain damage, and physically needed a wheelchair. And that lasted, I needed the wheelchair for 6 to 7 months.
Wow.
And I had severe brain damage and excruciating, wanting to die every day level of pain.
Wow.
And all from taking an antibiotic for a sinus infection, respiratory infection. So, yep, business was over because I was too stupid. I couldn't even read. Let alone do a contract or all these, crazy.
I'm getting chills.
I am too. Every time I tell it, my breath is getting all wavery because all these memories come back and I start freaking out and getting hot, and because it still seems unreal to us.
Yeah.
Now that we're on the other side of it, it's so hard to comprehend that anyone would allow that to happen. If we live in the United States of America, right? That's what my husband said to me at first. Honey, we live in the U.S. No one would let that happen. And luckily, someone was brave enough to say, hey, have you heard of this dōTERRA? It was a good friend of mine. And it was within 24 hours. She went to a class, right, and got this catalog. And we met for lunch. She handed me the catalog. And she had to be really brave to say that to someone who'd been that ill, right?
Oh my goodness, I couldn't imagine.
Thank God she did, right? But my first knee-jerk reaction was, oh, you've got to be kidding me.
Just throw some glitter on me, call me done.
We're hundreds of thousands of dollars in medical and lost wages and a $30 bottle of oil.
Totally. The wink and thumbs up. Yes, absolutely.
You do. We all think that, this is really dumb. You must be kidding me. Well, it was within a 24-hour time period where I'm in an online support group for people that were made sick by these drugs. They were starting to talk about dōTERRA, and I met her for lunch, and it was all within 24 hours. And I'm like, that's really weird. I've never even heard this word before. I'll think about it. I got home, called the lady on the phone on the catalog. My friend wasn't selling it, and said, I need this Digestin and this DDR. I wasn't digesting food. I was down to 100 pounds. I was gray, bones protruding from my body, and I had brain damage. And I read Digestin for digestive support, and I read that the root of everything for your health is digestive health. So I thought I'll start there. And DDR Prime for brain health and cellular health.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got damaged cells from head to toe. What can go wrong?
Let's do this thing. Yeah.
What could possibly happen? And I was clueless. I just took the whole bottle of one and like rolled it up and down the bottom of my foot, you know, so ended up with probably like 10 drops. Only needed one, but I didn't know what I was doing. Within 3 days, I started digesting food. And within 3 months, I added a couple more oils in there later. I was back to normal.
Wow.
After 3 years by year 2, I let my real estate license go and we accepted the fact that I would never work again. And 3 months, I got my life back. It's like, so people are like, why are you so over the top about oils? Well, let me tell you.
Sit on down, girl. Well, I mean,
so let me tell you something, right? And so I was like, we'll just play for a while. And then it was like, I have to work. Like, I love helping people and working and being productive. It's just who I am. It's how I'm wired, you know, right? I can't not work. I go on vacation and I have to come online and share oils or whatever. And my husband said, do you want to go back to real estate? I'm like, Lord, no. Like, that is the worst career choice for anyone on the planet. It's so stressful. It's terrible quality of life. And I said, I'd rather be poor. And we weren't poor at this point. We were not destitute, but pretty close. Mm-hmm. And I said, I'm going to do this dōTERRA thing. I don't know what it is. So I just sold some rollers to friends, accidentally helped someone get their own account and sign up. And luckily someone above us in the dōTERRA system said, hey, you enrolled someone. Do you have any idea what you're doing? I'm like, no, I do not. You help me. I don't know what any of this means. It was an accident and a check came in the mail for $22. And I was like, I said, what's that for? I said, I have no idea. I think there's something here we should investigate.
Heck yes.
In the mail.
Heck and yes.
Then there was no stopping us. Like, I didn't even care about the money. But like, I helped my friend, you know, with her, everyone got DigestZen DDR Prime rollers from me. Mm-hmm. And now I know we don't do that, of course, right? We help everybody get a starter kit if they can, because it's the best way to go. But I didn't know what I was doing. And now, like within a couple months, I'd signed up like 100 people. Mm-hmm. And because I just couldn't stop talking about and being excited about how unbelievable it was to change my life. And it kept growing. Like, once we got past that situation, just normal stuff that I have never experienced in my whole life, like just peace of mind and emotional health, because my whole life suffered from severe anxiety and depression. And oils were great for stress, anxiousness, just feeling at peace. I'd never had that my whole life.
Absolutely.
So even people that were like, well, I'm not sick like you. Well, that's the whole point. We want to help everybody see that this is just a whole new lifestyle of living for us.
I couldn't agree more. I couldn't agree more. Just being introduced to those products. And for me, it's really been the understanding of like slowing down. Every time I check in with my oils, you know, 5, 6, 10 times a day, depending on what that day might hold. It's like
you time.
Yeah. And I get those a couple of deep breaths, and I get to come back into that space of just alignment and use those tools so aptly. So there's a couple of things that I want to dive a little deeper into. I'd love to go first. I want to talk a little bit more about your personal healing experience and those 3 months where you kind of were, you know, really experiencing the product for the first time. Did you immediately attribute things to the oils, or how did you kind of get aware that those were the key?
I didn't know what to expect because there weren't people around educating like we all do now. I was kind of like in no man's land. And because what was broken was so big, it's not like I had a little digestive upset. Like now if I use DigestZen because I eat too much, I feel relief within 5 minutes. You know, there's an instant result. And with that, it was like, I don't know. And then when it worked and I digested food, not to be gross or overshare, but literally I didn't digest food. So I went to the bathroom and it was digested, right? And we were like, what? And I called for my husband. He's like, draw the line. I've been taking care of you for 3 years. I'm not looking at what you just did. I was like, you gotta see it. It's like be like an exciting moment in our life, but it
But
was.
bless that moment. Yeah.
But what happens is, right, because we were just your average everyday person, immediate was like, well, maybe I was getting better anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Immediately didn't want to give credit to the oils because we didn't understand them. We didn't have any other testimonials to give it credit yet. We didn't know anyone else using them with testimonials to give it credit. So we dismissed it at first, and then, but I kept using them. And then when it kept happening, and even when I wavered on food choices and made bad food choices, things that would normally like not go well, I was doing well. And we realized, no, it really, something is really happening here. And so then I was able to get balance and serenity. And my nervous system was fried and felt like I was being electrocuted every day. And all of a sudden, my nervous system calmed down and I didn't feel like I was buzzing or vibrating or feeling like I was electrocuted.
Mm-hmm.
And that was like, we knew it was it.
Yeah.
And then there was no stopping. And little by little, my son, for spring and fall, he went through spring and had seasonal threats, sneezy, itchy eyes, all that. And I said, my husband came home with a bunch of medicine. I said, we're gonna get that book thing and we're gonna figure this out. And we were that stupid with zero education. And we opened this book and it said lemon, lavender, peppermint, mix them together, put it on his feet, poof, better. So we kept having those instant gratification moments, which is what we needed to stick with the long term stuff.
Absolutely.
Like DDR prime is not instantaneous, right? That was a 3-month process.
Right, definitely. And I think we all start at that place of kind of having that ignorance around, you have to start with the tools. You need to have the reference book. You need to like even take your own notes on what it did for you that day when you used it so that you have that reference point for yourself and for, your clients and the people that you are serving. So something else that I love, your business model has definitely, I've, been a fan on YouTube and been watching, and just, I think you share such deep wisdom and you have a real joy for business. And I want to ask real quick, were you born with this entrepreneurial spirit, or is this something that developed over time?
It was definitely developed. You wouldn't believe it, but I used to be so shy and couldn't speak like at all, even just in normal groups of conversation. I would start breathing funny. I was completely insecure. And it was kind of like my dōTERRA moment, right? So my dōTERRA moment to find dōTERRA was this brick was dropped on my head where I was completely stripped of all faculties. And it was like, you must change your lifestyle, right? There was this major brick. Same thing happened with business. I'd worked for so many people and always been treated poorly. I was always the top salesperson and always had ideas, but I was always told to be quiet. You're just out of college. Be quiet. You're a woman. Keep your mouth shut, just do your job, just do what you're told. And I always had these ideas. And I was always paid 50 cents on the dollar to my male counterparts that I would train. So all this stuff just built up to where my very last job, it was a good job, making 50 cents on the dollar. And I was the top salesperson in the company. And I'd actually been assaulted by the owner of the company after a Christmas party. And the second I got engaged, shortly thereafter, got fired.
Wow.
And, the world we live in, this was 20 years ago, but even still, there wasn't anything you can do about it.
Right.
And I said, I'm never working for anyone else ever again. I'm so over it. I would rather work for less. And I'm so tired of not being heard. And I'm so tired of being told to be quiet, that you don't know anything, that I said, I'll work for myself for the rest of my life, even if I don't make very much money.
And that's what it took, and I hate to hear that story, but the other side coming out of that is that awakening within you that it's like, I can't do this anymore. And definitely the voices now are a lot louder than they once were, which is amazing. But there comes, I feel like just that shift in general really comes also from people taking their own right and taking their power back in that way. So, you know, I commend you and thank you for sharing that. I appreciate
And
it.
sadly, we do have to be pushed that far.
Yeah.
Because where we're at is so comfortable and it's scary to change.
Yeah. But then sometimes I sit back and I ask, you know, my women, I lead several different programs where I serve women, like, ask yourself, is this comfortable, or are you settling? Are you surviving, or are you thriving? Because yeah, maybe you're paying your bills, maybe you're putting away something for a retirement plan, but are you living? Are you enjoying yourself? Are you healthy? Do you feel healthy? Do you love yourself?
Shining? Are you getting shine? That's what I love now, is helping people find, what are you good at in doTERRA? Let's make you shine.
Yeah.
Really good at the business and placements and structuring. I'm like, let's do it. Let's pay attention to her. You be that person and lead us and be amazing at it. And totally, like, my mouth is watering. I just get so excited about finding you.
Yes.
I tell you the same way. Like, I'm going to help women light it up and come into your own, because I was not this way until I was pushed off the cliff.
Yeah, until that's it. And sometimes that's what it takes. And unfortunately, sometimes we have to learn in the hard way. Some of us kind of pick it up along the way. Other people, like, they need to hit the wall, then they need to get there. And so grateful that you came through that on the other side. And now you have created this beautiful business. And what I really admire about your work is you have embodied the concept of duplication in a way that I haven't seen anybody else do yet. And you create all these tools that you know, it's not just for your team, but also available to outside teams, which I really appreciate, because I feel that there is a lot of struggle out there for new wellness advocates to connect with their upline and to get the support that they need, unless you really fall into a team where it's like, here we go. And this, I'm so grateful because my team is showing up in that way, but I also had to kind of ask. I had to, like, get in there and be like, hey, you know, I need these things. And so tell me a little bit about let's talk about your first year.
Okay. So the first year, the first thing I did right out the gate was, I'm a steps and, like, systems and process learner, right? So I needed checklists, like, because there's so many different facets to our business. And so I wrote a training manual, like, within a couple months, right? And I was like, so the first thing you need is this, and I'm visual. So then I would take a picture of the computer screen and print it out on a piece of paper. And I literally just put in a binder with plastic pages, step by step, click here. The old LRP system was a little complicated. It wasn't self-explanatory. So I had that binder. Well, it was great, but everything was still so complicated. There were no tools that explained to people how to enroll themselves. So we had to do it all, like, through our mouth. And people weren't doing videos like they do now. And so everything was just too complicated. But I persevered and did it anyway, like, built to diamond that way. Our classes were so complicated that we took a DVD. And if people didn't have a TV or a DVD player, we took a TV and a DVD player. That's how complicated they were. But that's what the process was. And we followed the process until we made it better. And that's, like, something that's, I don't know, good or broken in me, but I always keep trying to fix everything and improve it and make it better, because I never feel like anything is perfect the way it is. It can always get better. You know, I teach done is better than perfect. Then let's keep tweaking until we can always make it better. And that's about 2 years in at Diamond, I said, why is my team not doing what I'm doing? Well, it's because I was working all the time, teaching tons of classes. Most of them worked full time or had 5 kids or both. And they were like, you're really good with words. We aren't. We don't know these words you're using. You paint these great stories. Like, they're like, we don't have the words. We can't remember these 45-minute presentations off the top of your head that you do.
Right.
And that's when I was like,
boom.
That's when I started rewriting that training manual in my words, and just kept condensing and condensing and condensing until I got to, you know, the 60-second enrollment. Tried it, and I was like, they just enrolled. And all I did was ask them about themselves and tell them, the best thing for everyone, because it's true, right? I can't do it if it's not true. The best thing for everyone is to start with a starter kit because it's extra discounted. Like the small one for $150 or the big one for $275. What are you most comfortable with?
Yeah.
And they picked, and it was done.
Yeah.
And they didn't have to listen to me ramble for 45 minutes to an hour about all these products that they didn't care about yet because they didn't fall in love with it yet.
Yeah. They need the experience.
Yep. And
for sure.
It started happening, and I got my time back, my life back, and my team, regardless of their sales experience, marketing experience, people skills, could do it.
Mm.
And that's when I was like, this is what duplication is. Condensing it down to such just the key points, not using any special language or lingo, to where someone that just got their account with us can turn around from me and say, yeah, Susie, I was just talking to this oil lady. You should do this too. Here's all we got to do. Pick one of these.
Yeah.
Anyone can do that. Instead of picking like the 1% of the 1% on your team that have people skills, communication skills, speaking skills, market, right?
Yeah,
Teach
absolutely.
99.9% how to do this.
Yeah. And I think that's the real key in this business model is that we want to make it accessible to everyone. First of all, the tools, what we want that out there for everybody. And we don't want people to be intimidated because, oh, I don't know anything about, what lavender does, or I don't know anything about herbs or plants. It's like, you don't need to. You just need to come in. You just need to put a drop on you. Like, let's just start there.
And love people enough and be brave enough to open your mouth.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Connect every day. Connect every day. There's someone out there that needs to hear you and needs to experience these offerings. You said, focus on the 99% because I do believe that is a really big mindset shift because I am a young builder right now and I'm watching my girls come up and I'm also realizing that I have to give them space to breathe and to discover how it's going to work for them. But the simplification really is, here are some tools, here are some options. There are different people doing different things, and you kind of got to find the people that really resonate with you. Mm-hmm. But the simplicity of your system is that it really does, it's very open-ended. Like you can take it, you can go deeper with it, you can keep it at very face value.
You can be the teacher of classes, you can be the teacher of make and takes, you can be the builder that never teaches classes. Mm-hmm. Does all one-on-ones or phone or Facebook, and they all still work.
Yeah. So tell me about, the development of your systems. Was that something that has been, it's obviously continuing to grow and continuing to shift. How long before you started period working, did those kind of tools evolve and come out of you in that way? Because in a way you're like a business channel, a network marketing channel.
So what happened was I tried every system out there and it was just too much stuff, buying too much stuff, too many tear pads, too many brochures stacked all over my house, and then they'd be outdated. And so one of my first thoughts was, why do we keep buying all this paper and storing it and then throwing it away? Why don't we just go electronic? Mm-hmm. You print something when you need it. Mm-hmm. And that was like the first light bulb moment. And I got back like a 6-foot filing cabinet is now empty. And it was full of dōTERRA brochures and tear pads. And
right.
I said, first of all, let's go environmentally friendly, print something when you need it, or even just be able to pull it on your phone when you're sitting with someone, right? So I started creating these electronically so that you didn't have to travel with a suitcase full of stuff. And then I was at a vendor event and another company at the event, people were reaching our booth second, and they were like, oh, I just got this. And they showed me this trifold brochure. And I was like, and you got your own account with them just because of this trifold brochure visual that they said, get this? Mm-hmm. And I was like, light bulb moment.
That's right.
They didn't do it from a, 100-page catalog or a 10-page booklet. They did it from a single piece of paper. And that's when I created my own version of that. And then I want to tell the story from start to finish, right? In a single piece of paper. And what was so frustrating for me that I needed to solve, because of the problem solver in me, was there was no tool that told me how to order doTERRA. And I was like, well, why don't we just put it on the trifold? And so we did. And that it was like, psh. And we hand people that trifold now, strangers, Uber drivers, and you'll go home and they will have gotten their own account with you.
Amazing.
Enroll. And it didn't take 45 minutes to 2 hours to do it.
Yeah, I love it. And it's as simple as just even exchanging like an Uber ride, an 8-minute, 10-minute Uber ride. You meet someone, you say hi, maybe you have something to sample them with, and then you leave them with a brochure. And I 100% want to celebrate you for putting the instructions on there, because that's the missing link. That's the key. If you leave that part out, you know, the chances that someone is going to take the time, if you even get their email or you exchange numbers, you know how it is. Those instant connections, they fizzle, you know, they fizzle. Yeah. So, and you got to give people you got to give people the space to take responsibility for their wellness. And if you make it easy,
they will.
Yeah. I love that. I love that.
Click. The other thing that was driving me crazy too is times had changed. I had developed severe ADD from like the drug induced and side effect. And I realized I'm not the only one, just the lifestyle these days, everyone has attention deficit. And I'd watch people and I'd be like, they're just not absorbing all this information. They have, honestly, about a 2-sentence or a 4-sentence attention span. A couple minutes into presentations, they're out. If you give them any more than a single piece of paper, they're out. Mm-hmm. And I was like, everybody wants the Amazon YouTube experience. They want a video that tells me what to do in 2 to 4 minutes or less. And they want a point and click bullet instruction. And that's why I was like, we have to rewrite everything. And every process that we have needs to be that condensed, whether it's enrolling or how to order next, do the LRP. Mm-hmm. Like, there's no intimidation for me to tell people to do the LRP, because you should do LRP.
Totally.
Right? It's not like, oh, maybe. No, maybe. You should do it because it's the best thing for you. Like, start being assertive. People don't know what we don't tell them.
Yeah.
Don't say, oh, do you want to? They don't know if they want to because they know nothing about it. Tell them that they should do it. And start giving everyone the words and key phrases that they need to get action from their prospect or their member, or just tell them what's best in 1 or 2 sentences.
Yes. And that's where your gift lies, is like, you know, you said I'm kind of a perfectionist, even though I don't feel like there's ever perfection, but this is what it's almost like a tradesman. This is what we do. We get more and more efficient and more and more effective. And if we can bust it down to one word, we will.
Yes.
For sure.
Save money, get stuff free. Like, that's what people hear. And so it's teaching everyone how to speak the language that your audience understands. Just get the starter kit. It's the best deal for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And that takes, you know, and I think you also touched on something there with the LRP. When I first started, man, would I trip myself up with the LRP? Like,
me too.
Couldn't do it.
It's too complicated to explain, because we would try to explain all of it.
Yeah.
Just order. It's the best deal. You get stuff monthly. You can cancel if you want.
Boom.
Yeah, free stuff.
Yeah, and when it comes around, you can cash in points, and I'll show you how. Like,
don't give them the PhD in dōTERRA before they've even ordered.
You can just feel the energy shift from like, whoa, like, oh yeah, I'm excited. And then you say, you know, LRP monthly, and it's like, they start to like, there's a retraction. You got to land the two line understanding, and just even the introduction, right, of the LRP right off the bat, so that they know it's there. I want to ask you about your personal rank advancement and how this journey has gone for you. What, if you have any offerings for the people who, you know, that first jump to elite, to premier, then silver, then platinum, diamond, and now you're on the brink of what's next. So I'd love to hear that journey.
Sure. So we went pretty quickly because I wasn't working, right? So I just worked on dōTERRA and I was obsessed. So, and my son was in school. So I worked on dōTERRA from the time I got up till the time I went to bed. And I think I hit like premier in 6 weeks, silver at 4 months, gold at 6 months, platinum, I forget, like 16 months or something like that. Gold at 21, or I'm sorry, diamond at 21. And blue, we just hit back in November. So what's that, like a little over 4 years? In hindsight, had we understood structuring, we found our old records of keeping track of all that, I would have hit diamond at 10 months.
Wow.
Blue diamond at 2 years. And because I have well over blue diamond rank every month. But so then I also became passionate about teaching about that, because I didn't discover our core structuring until I was 2.5 years in and solid diamond. I'm like, let's go blue. And then I'm like, it's a completely different structure.
Okay.
That we did not plan for. And so that opened up this huge, like, we've got to explain this to everyone, because clearly the masses don't get it. We didn't. We're smart people. It didn't get it. And so at the 2.5 years, I told my account manager, I'm not happy. I'm very upset right now. Between working too hard, this business is way too complicated for me for just 6 figures, single 6 figures. I've worked way too hard. This has to change. And I'm either quitting or we're going to rewrite how this is done.
Yeah.
Teach everybody.
That's the Lisa Zimmer I know.
You figured me out, right? I was mad, and I the thing is, I don't get mad for me. You do it first, right? I was mad for me. And it wasn't that the information wasn't out there. It was that I didn't comprehend it. And I wanted to rewrite in a way that everyone could comprehend it. So it was, that's when I wrote the trifold, boom, turned everything into make and takes, boom, and saw all these things, transition, teach structuring, did structuring video, blew up, right? People were like, I get it now, I get it. And blue diamond was an accident. Once we got to diamond, I said, I'm pooped. We're going to put all our time into our team, teaching them this simple stuff. I'm going to slow down on enrolling. I'm going to go for quality, not quantity. Instead of it being the Lisa Zimmer show and enrolling, 10 to 38 people a month.
Wow.
Why don't I do 3 to 5 and make sure that all of them know that they can share dōTERRA too? Here's some trifolds, you hand them out. Oh, I'd love to. Help everybody start doing the business instead of Lisa Zimmer just doing it all. And we solidified diamond in a year, right? Working one by one with all those leaders, identifying who is really in this, right? And helping them while teaching the 99%. Hey, we got a trifold, hand it out, got free stuff. And they started doing that and growing into builders. What we learned throughout that process was that very few people are like us. You're just going to get it, and you're going to start enrolling 10 to 38 people a month. The rest of them are grown. They're grown from a really good oil experience to not being able to be quiet about it and sharing it with friends to turning into a sharer and a builder. And that's where we put our efforts. And Blue Diamond was a surprise because we were just helping our team do their thing, and they killed it that month, and we hit Blue Diamond. A really nice surprise. But now it's the same thing. I want to focus on finding more and more of the people in my team that are capable, not just my top 5 that got us to Blue Diamond. Because I know there's more people in this 1,700 organization that can do more. And I want to find them and grow them and help every single person be the best they can be.
Absolutely.
Just enrolling as many as I can as fast as I can and not giving them what they need.
Well, that I think that also speaks to, I feel like somewhere in the ranks, I don't, I haven't experienced silver or gold or any of that yet, but I feel like at that point you kind of switch into the more leadership. Some
Mhm.
of us, I think, walk that path a little bit more naturally, but then I can see where the growers, the people that are kind of slowly cultivating that business edge, your
Mhm.
mentality switches into, I don't want to enroll, like you said, 38 people. Oh my goodness,
Yeah. A
girlfriend.
lot of follow-ups, a lot of welcome packages. I was
Right.
like fried. Yeah.
And that's not how this business is meant to be run from the get-go. And when you understand that about the oils, I think you start to understand like, oh, I'm not doing it efficiently enough.
Mhm.
If I have to work my ass off day in and day out, this is about, like you said, helping other women rise and
Yep.
shine and light their own fire and change their own life to be something that's more balanced, brighter, more fulfilling, more financially welcoming, more healthy.
And I wasn't living the real doTERRA lifestyle, which self-care. I
Mm-hmm.
let that go.
Mm-hmm.
So now, instead of working 12 hours, no, I still work 12 hours a day, but that my assistant's giggling next to me. She's like, he.
Busted.
On my doTERRA business itself, I work like an hour a day, maybe two if I mentor a team member,
Right.
right? Because we've got it down to, I go live on Thursdays from 12 to 1. From 1 to 2, I update the post, answer some questions out, right? And
Yeah.
get it streamlined. Once a month, we teach a workshop and I give 3 hours of my time. And it's very refined. I check email from this time to this time. I check like getting
Mm-hmm.
so efficient like a machine for those pieces instead of just being all over the place. That allowed me the time to run this biz tips. That's a free group of 26,000 builders that aren't on my team,
Mm-hmm.
and educate them. I have time,
Mm-hmm.
and do paid training courses and create more tools. Like we're finishing up a new trifold right now for people in our WWZD training course. And I have the time to do that. I have time to do stuff for free and give back because we've refined all those other processes.
And
Time blocking.
yeah. No, I hear you, girlfriend. Yeah,
Otherwise, you're like the doTERRA Tasmanian double.
it's a hot mess. It smells good, but it's a hot mess.
That's good though.
Um, and you said something here also of value where you're able to offer things back for free to, this expansive community, even people who aren't on your team. I'd love to talk to you about that because I think that's a real root in our business's integrity. And there's this really also this deep sense of value for your life and your wellness and your purpose when you're able to give this life of service in some ways, and back to the community. Can you share with us a little bit about how and why you stepped into that role?
So that was kind of an accident. I love to share and share a lot and have a lot of ideas, especially for marketing. So I was in the Diamond Facebook group, and I would share, or somebody would see something and say, "Hey, I saw this. Tell me about that." And the next thing I knew, there was a whole lot of Lisa Zimmer going on in the Diamond Facebook group. That was like, because then people would find like old stuff like, wow, this marketing campaign for the hair care is amazing. Tell me about that. And it would get bumped to the top again. And it'd be like Lisa Zimmer, Lisa Zimmer, Lisa Zimmer. And I'm like, I wasn't taking advantage. I was just sharing like, hey, you guys got to try this. This works. We have
Mm-hmm.
everybody using the hair care now. Hey, see what I just did for LLV now. Everybody's using LLV on our team, and our LRP rate is 70 to 80%.
Wow.
And I thought, you know what? This is really maybe not the platform for it because not everyone in there is going to love Lisa Zimmer. And I said, why don't I just make my own group, and I'm just going to share my business tips, and those that want it can choose to come in and get it.
Mm-hmm.
And at first I was just going to do diamonds above, but sorry, my phone started, Siri turned on. And I was just going to do diamonds above. And then I was like, wait a second, like beginners need this more than anyone. And so I didn't restrict it and just started sharing. I didn't have any tools. when I created Lisa Zimmer Essential Oils Biz Tips. I hadn't created a single tool for anyone else. I was just using stuff for my team. And I started sharing some things and people were like, this is amazing. And I'm like, it is? You like it? I'm so excited. I'm like, they like me. And then the testimonials started coming in like, hey, I use this. I have my oils, now what? And favorite recipes page. And I've been using that for years, since I started. I made that like the second month I was doing this. I'm like, everybody needs right out of the gate just a single piece of paper with the most commonly used roller recipes for everyday stuff, because a book can be confusing and intimidating. And they were like, my membership overviews just went from like 2 hours to like 20 minutes and just all this stuff. And they're like, my people that don't show up for membership overviews are digging in to their oils because they got this simple piece of paper now. And I was like, sweet. And I just started giving everything away for free, just one right after the other. And a diamond friend called me and she's like, you could really change dōTERRA across the board, but you also need to sell this stuff, because you're going to go from, 10 minutes a day sharing your fun stuff to like, you could work on this full time and change the course of dōTERRA. But you're going to have to charge for it because you're going to need staff and whatnot to make it happen. And I was like, I don't know if I want to do that. So trust me, sell it and see how it goes. People are going to love it. This stuff's priceless. She said, you cannot put a price tag on what you do because you have something that nobody else is doing. And we need it. And she was like, I will pay you. I said, well, I will give it to you for free. She's like, no, I will pay you. This is so valuable to me. And so I was like, okay. So I put a package of our handouts together, easiest way to use oils. Because what I watched over that course of those years was I saw people don't respond to, you tell me about 10 oils and I'm going to get it. They weren't getting it. They were getting, here's my problem. Now tell me what to buy to fix it. And so I rewrote, I wrote dōTERRA and said, hey, could you rewrite the catalog by body system? And they were like, and so I just rewrote, the top 17 topics by handout, and everybody fell in love with them. Residentials were messaging me like, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And I was like, and I'm like, is this really happening? So then we have 3 assistants now, like 2 assistants, a graphic designer, and my husband full time. So we have to charge for it now because all these people won't work for free, right? But it's turned into these single, like they're tied. dōTERRA business and this solving things for business people are tied for the most rewarding things. Like one of my silvers that just hit silver, she was sick like me. You can't top that, right? You can't top that reward. But getting people who were like, I was going to quit dōTERRA because it was too complicated until I found you, and I was just able to resign from my job today and stay home with my kids. Like, oh my gosh, that one lights me up. And that's what I want. That is total fulfillment that I've never had before in my whole life at any career or job choice.
Yeah. I can see you fully here, and I can see the equality in both of these offerings that you do so wholeheartedly. I feel like dōTERRA opened the door for you to really step into your own personal identity and to arrive fully in yourself.
Don't make me cry.
I love it. I see you, girlfriend. And that's really what I admire, because your work within the company is beautiful and effervescent, but I see what you're doing externally. And I think that's part of the soul work too, So thank you for that.
That's what I always tell people too. They're like, I don't want to sell. I don't want to be pushy. I'm like, don't. Just be honest. They will see it in your face. They will see that you love these products and that you're passionate about it and that you're genuine and want to change their life. Just be you and it will happen.
Yeah.
Totally
let your heart do the work, you know.
Yeah.
It's really, that's what it is, the belief in there. And as we're kind of wrapping up here, I just want to ask you, what do you think is one of the biggest struggles that people have as they're rising within doTERRA in terms of just mindset?
Mm. Right. So belief in themselves, that's the biggest, right? So I was already diamonds and people were coming in and saying, yay, these are awesome. You're brilliant. I'm like, oh, you like me, right? We all have it. We all have trouble believing in ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think the biggest distraction as you grow is the more you know, the more complicated we make things ourselves.
Okay.
It comes down to, how do you build a doTERRA business? Wipe the slate clean and go back to square one. I enrolled people 10 to 38 a month with zero knowledge about anything and telling them, hey, Susie Q, you need this, totally not understanding what it does or what everything's called, but you should get it because here's what it did for me, and I know it can help you too. Shall we go ahead and order? Hello.
Amen. She's like,
My
please
Siri keeps coming up. Siri, sign it up
Oh, I love it.
for that, right? But we don't. We get all in our head and we get all in sesquiterpenes and antibacterial and blah, 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 LRP. And we ruin the process ourselves
Mm-hmm.
because we try to get fancy and fabulous.
Yeah. And there's a space and a time for that, but I definitely think the easiest approach is the most simple and direct, and leave it at that. Yeah.
Share oils with
Amazing.
people, tell them they're awesome, help them get their own account, repeat.
Yes. Girlfriend, it's been an amazing chat with you. You're just so inspiring, so focused, so brilliant. And I really appreciated you taking the time today to chat with me here.
Well, thanks for saying all that. You're very welcome.
Heck yes. Where can everybody find you and also the tools that you offer?
Oh, sure. So you can follow me on YouTube. I love YouTube videos. So you can follow my YouTube channel. It's just Lisa Zimmer. On Instagram, you can follow me at Lisa Zimmer Oils. I mostly post about how we use doTERRA in our life and then the oils business as well. And on Facebook, I have for just general public education for oils in general, and wellness advocates can take my graphics and my posts and anything like that and share. We have a group called Yay Oils Public Education. I believe in not keeping that information within our team, but share it to everyone so everyone can learn. And then for business building tips, Lisa Zimmer Essential Oils Biz Tips on Facebook. I'm everywhere. So then I have a website for both learning about oils and the business tools, and that's lisazimmer.net.
Awesome. And I'll be sure to put all those links into the show notes as well, so everybody can go check them out.
Sure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. And are there any programs that you're launching in the near future?
Yes, in fact, Katie, my assistant, is working on that right now, typing away. So we are doing another round of What Would Zimmers Do? That's our 35 days Facebook group. It's private. It's $45, and you join it, and we tell you exactly what we're working on to build our business every day for 35 days. And we can't do it all the time because it's a lot of work and very draining. So I can do it every few months. So what we've had happen so far is people rank up, increase their volume because they're literally being told every day what to do. Things that you think, oh yeah, I'll do that, but you forget. Or things they've never even heard of. That's the biggest thing because the back office tricks. And then we provide free tools, free things that aren't available anywhere else. And we just loaded 1,000 free graphics.
Wow.
Into one of them. Yeah. So we're launching a new round. It'll go live on the website on lisazimmer.net tomorrow night.
Oh, fantastic.
Yep. It'll be for the April May session.
Okay, awesome. Yep. So this will air out before then. So what impeccable timing.
Hey, good. And it's the last minute. If you talk to anybody now, tomorrow we're pulling off the current WWZD. You can still join the current WWZD and watch all the content that we did for the last, it finishes February 28th, but we're pulling it down access to it tonight or tomorrow. So if people want to do that, they can join that WWZD that we did for
Okay. Cool. Well, thanks again. And it's been fantastic chatting with you. So I really appreciate it. And one last quick question. What is in your diffuser today?
Ooh, hold on. Breathe, On Guard, and Lemon. I was like, I know this because I just carried those oils from room to room to room, so the same scent would be throughout the whole house. Usually there's different ones in every room. I'm like, nope, we just got back from traveling and a concert, and I was like, cooties everywhere. Breathe, On Guard, and Lemon is in every single diffuser right now. It smells like juice.
Love it. Love it, girlfriend. Thank you so much for being here, and have a fantastic afternoon.
Thanks, Kristina. Appreciate your time. Bye.